I'm Judith Timmins. I'm the Managing Director of Compliance Coach. It's a company that's been going for the last 10 years. I'm a nurse by trade, and I became very disillusioned with the corporate world and the fact that I found that chief execs of care companies weren't supporting the staff and they weren't really getting that backing. So I left and very quickly set up my own company, and here I am in year 10. What I specialise in is coaching managers and nominated individuals to improve care. And in doing so, I ensure that their compliance improves and that their rating with CQC improves. Oh, well, that was really a funny one, actually. When I started, I did the sensible thing and made a lot of contacts very quickly. One of the contacts I made was John via LinkedIn, and I called him and I said, I see you're in healthcare, can we meet? And he said, shall we have a cup of coffee? And it went from there. We just literally met, and I said, I really don't know what I'm doing. He gave me a lot of advice. He set me up with my first lot of training, which I did with a partner. And now I tend to work with him simply because I like the business practices here. I like their ethics and their values and the way they do business. Well, I think it went through a phase of when I started in 2014, everybody was having face-to-face training. Mm-hmm. And the face-to-face training, unfortunately, because of COVID, was shelved, which was a real shame. So everybody went to video training or Zoom training, call it what you will. And for a time, I think that was okay. Unfortunately, with their inspections and with the fact that people's quality, I think, has dropped, they're starting to look at their training and they're coming back to the original, and everything works that way, doesn't it? It comes back to the original, and I think a lot of people are coming back to the fact that they need face-to-face training. And I was talking to a guy the other day that said you can't do without face-to-face training, because the staff learn by debate, they learn by solid teaching, and then they learn by debate and discussion and thinking about what they've actually learned. So I think it's actually come full circle, and I think it will stay that way.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's where you think it's going to be heading in the future?
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, all this digital stuff, yeah, it's great, but I'm sorry, I'm really old-fashioned.
It works.
I don't think anything supersedes sitting around a table and saying, fine, this lady's had a fall, what would you have done to prevent it? Because, and also on the Zoom stuff and on the digital stuff, it's a tick box exercise. And they can manipulate, they're not learning anything, they're learning how to manipulate the system, and that's not really improving care, is it? I liked John's approach to start with. I liked the fact that he was willing to give me time to advise me, and that I value very, very much. He's a straight talker. So when I asked him about what to do about this, he was very straight talking. He very much put me on the right track. He gave me lots of time. But I have recommended the company in the past. If people want dom care or they want recruitment, I would always say Elwood. That's not just because of my association with Ash and with John. It's the fact that their business practices, they're honest, they're straight, they're very straight talking, and they don't mess about with quality. They rate quality service extremely highly, and they're not prepared to mess about with that anyway. And I really, really like that. So if I was recruiting, I'd use them. I just find them very high quality and very honest, and I just think they're very, very good at what they do. They don't mess about. They just don't mess about.
Compare it to another recruitment agency, what would you say the biggest difference is there?
I think the leadership at the top. I think Ash and John lead the team very well. I think they're very keen to make sure that the team are supported, but I think their one overriding aim is to make sure that the service users get good care, and that they're sending people out into people's homes to look after them, and they take that very seriously. my hairdresser, I know that's a silly thing, but my hairdresser takes her work very seriously. She takes, I don't know, she's very good when she welcomes you. She tells you what she's going to do. She makes sure that it gets done. And I feel that that's what they do at Elwood. You ask them to do something, they do it with integrity and honesty, and they've got the service users' needs very much at the heart. No, I don't think so. I mean, I've seen them evolve from interests, because when I started, I was working with them as interests. So I've seen them evolve and change very slightly, but I think their ethics, their values, their business practices and their honesty has stayed the same. So for my money, that's who I pay, simply for that reason. I can't bear people that mess about, or they're dishonest, or they're unhelpful, or worse, they haven't got an invested, that they haven't invested in service user care. I think these guys here heavily invest in the staff, which means that the service users get better care. And that's really all I'd be interested in. If I was buying services, that's what I'd be interested in. But I haven't had any challenges working with these people. Sometimes I'll ask John what he thinks, and he's a bit too straight, but then I'm extremely straight. So we've clicked, and Ash is very straight, and I like people that are straight.